So we're back at Vescio's, and the car is all painted. We got it back at the shop. Right now we're doing assembly and mechanics on it. But we just want to take a moment and talk to Bo about the whole process of the project and kind of give you guys an insight on what it takes and what's put into painting a car of this scale and all the work that goes into it. We started talking to Bo about this probably a year before paint. And at that time, we knew it was going to be tight on time. The goal was to go to Detroit with this. We set a date, and sticking to that date was tough because there's always more you feel like you can do into a project like this, but sometimes you got to just have that end date to get it done. The whole reason we brought it here is because we knew these guys are the best. They got a great shop, they got a great crew, they work with really good products. Let's talk to Bo a little bit, and we'll go over the whole process of the car. I guess, Bo, we could talk about the very beginning. It's important that people understand, the good communication.
Yeah.
That we at least had. I felt we had good communication on this project.
Yeah, it works good. Well, I've been doing this a long time. You find out later on, that's the deal, as much as you can communicate, because there's so many factors that can get in there and mess the project up. And I came over to your place and checked it out when you guys were, I don't know, you were just in the beginnings,
Yeah.
I don't even think all that tubing stuff was done. A lot of it was started, but the car wasn't even
We
cut
probably
up all
just
that
showed you
much.
the shelf of raw tubing and said, here's the car.
Right, yeah. Yeah, setting yourself a date and getting, just keeping with that. For as much as you guys did, even watching the videos as they come through, and when we got it here and we're like, it just looks like miles of tubing and structure and all, and you're just like, how long does this take? And for you to have, just like us, you have a shop that's running, you've got other projects to do.
Yeah.
So to sneak something in like this and to be committed to doing it, but when you get partnerships with all the people you do, you have to come out. People do that all the time, and then they just don't. Mm-hmm. They talk about these big dreams, and the cars don't morph into what they're supposed to be. So you guys really plugged away and kept, and when we got the car here, even being your car, I didn't see any corners cut. I didn't see any screw it, that's good enough. Everything for being a race car is as good as it fit. We didn't have to do much messing around on our end. A lot of times at the body shop, the metal guy will give you a car and be like, yeah, man, them gaps are perfect. It's ready to go.
Yeah, right.
And then we're bending and cutting and welding and all that stuff. But we didn't have a lot of that with this one. So
our goal was to give it to you as we discussed.
Right.
And ready for body work and paint.
Right. And again, for that to actually come to that way is kind of an anomaly. It's always like, oh, we can't finish, so just finish it up for us.
Yeah.
But you guys really plugged through. So having it be the 4-door turned into a 2-door, that quarter panel was almost undetectable that it was done. We could see it, and people will see in the pictures if they haven't seen the car as a 4-door, and then they go, how do they do that? And then you guys brought the front clip later because you're still working on that.
Yeah, so we originally brought it with the car.
Yep.
So you could see the gaps.
Right. Yep.
And then we brought it back with us and did a bunch of work on it.
Right.
I think we had it for at least a few weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how many cars that you've had to deal with like this, where you had to paint around all the tubes and actually paint the full interior also. Was that pretty tricky?
Yeah, that's tricky. When that stuff comes in, roll cages are cool, but when they come into the painter, he just puts his face in his hand. It's like, oh man. We got a couple guys, and they're climbing in and out of there, and that's like over tube. We've done just regular roll cages, but that's everything. And then under the hood and engine bay, all that stuff, and getting under the car. So that's what we do. Do all the engine bay, all the inside, all the underneath first. And as we were working on the color, originally the car was going to be a shiny, gloss car.
Yeah.
We got House of Color on the gig to help out. And then it was like, this might be too sparkly, too flashy, not too much bling.
Well, let's talk about the color a little bit,
Yeah.
because Because you're really good friends with John Kosmowski, and he's in your shop quite often.
Yep. Yeah, we've been helping him out with a car, probably one of his last big builds. So.
Yeah. And he was helping with the color. He was doing some testing and stuff, and I was telling him what I wanted. I was telling you what I wanted, and it was in my head, but I wasn't able to really describe it well.
Right.
And it was really the day of paint that we came up with the color. And you kind of took me by the arm and said, "Listen, you better decide today."
Yeah,
We're done messing
here's what
around.
we're doing. Yeah,
And
that's real common. Is you sort of know what you want, but you just can't explain it.
Yeah.
So we did a couple panels, and then as we thought, well, maybe we just do tone that car down, and it makes it like a little bit of an ominous vehicle. I mean, that thing's it's like Mad Max, cool stuff. And watching it go on the salt flat or whenever it goes will be, that's what I'll think of when I'm seeing that thing. That solved our problem. It took away the bling, but then you wanted that little bit of that green, and I think John, and we just did with the green pearl in there, which just changes it enough. And then when you take the clear off of it and have a satin clear, it changes it again. It gives it, then the car has a cool texture to it.
yeah, I loved it.
Yeah.
I mean, you sprayed that test panel. I was like, "That's it.
Yeah.
Do it. Spray it."
It's a very simple color. It's
Yeah.
gray, but it's not as simple as you
No, you
as you
put
think.
that-
Oh, you just paint it gray and there you go.
You put it in different lights, and it really changes a lot. You start seeing the greens and the browns, and
Yep.
and the gold.
It turned out pretty cool. I think once we, get out and see it, it's going to look pretty badass.
Yeah.
Because if we invest our part of it, and then the car doesn't get out, and get shown and whatever,
Right.
that's the whole gig for you and me.
Absolutely.
The only reason you do all that stuff. So, yeah.
That's why we're doing this right now, right? Is for exposure for all of us.
Yep.
And all the companies involved, anyone that's helped out,
Yeah.
is to show the world, this is what these companies can help produce is a project like this, and this is what it takes to actually do it.
Right.
It's not just money. Like, there's a lot that goes into it.
Yeah. The guys can give you money, give you parts, and everybody appreciates all that, but somebody's got to put it together.
Yeah.
So you get that pile of parts, and then the famous line is, "All we got left is everything."
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you again, Bo. I do appreciate
All right.
it. We
Thank
got more
you.
projects coming up. You know that.
Yep. We
And,
love them.
We'll just keep going forward.
Yeah. I can't wait to get out and go see that thing at some shows.
Well, it's like the 11th hour, and this is really not how we normally do things. We don't try to wait till the deadline for a car show to get something done. And as a matter of fact, 6 weeks ago, I kind of just called the show off. We didn't have a car. We didn't have a lot of the parts that were on order, and it just wasn't looking good. But I really wanted to bring this car to Detroit. It was really important to me. It's really important to the people that helped us throughout this project too, our sponsors and everybody involved. And, the guys here at the shop. So we decided to try to make it happen anyways, and it looks like it might actually happen. But it's the day before we're gonna leave, and we've just been thrashing. Long nights, weekends, call in a couple extra recruits that we know and helped us out before. So that's what we're doing right now. We got people all over the car, all over the shop. The shop's a disaster, but that's what happens. So if you want, we'll take a look at it and show you what we've been working on. This is part of the belly pan. We got a bunch of belly pan pieces, and you can see all the Zeus fasteners. Making the pans, all the holes, fitting them in alignment. Had them powder coated. We're just putting all the Zeus fasteners in now, getting them riveted in. This stuff takes forever. And like I say, we got, 8 of these pieces that we had to do. A lot of time into this little stuff. All this fit and finish, bolting things in. You gotta take a file at it, massage it a little bit. All that stuff takes forever. But you can see we've got the engine in, all the suspension, that's all in. Everything went in very well for the most part. It's awesome. Super happy. We got the engine dynoed at Wheeler. They got their job done. Super happy with them and super happy with the engine. I couldn't have I couldn't imagine the car with a different engine. It had to be a big Hemi, you know? You know, we talked about the brakes the other day. We got those all in. Rear suspension's all done. A little bit more work to do on the exhaust. You can see we got our Jeffco transmission in there, Rowell bell housing. We got our tilt and pedals in. It's all plumbed for the brakes. Working on the seat over here, trying to get these windows bolted in right now. You know, we had all these fitted before paint and mint. After paint, you gotta refit it all. It just happens. It's nobody's fault. And now we're putting all the individual screws in. And it's a two-man job, which is, you know, it kind of sounds ridiculous, but if you look at the situation, you know, one guy could probably do these fasteners here, but you can't reach way in there. So you gotta have one guy on the outside, one guy on the inside. Tailgate's on. Like I say, we're working on the chute pack down here. The doors are almost assembled. We gotta get the door panels on. We sent those out and got powder coated as well. Of course, there's the front clip also. We're still trying to assemble the grille, which we had partially done before. So a lot to do in about one day. We gotta leave. But we'll get it done. We'll work all night, drive all night tomorrow, but it's all right. It's part of the deal. This is reality. This is a car build. Like I say, we don't usually wait to the last minute like this. It's not how I like to operate, but in this case, I wanted to make it happen, and so we're doing it, whatever it takes.